We're now in Dcad lesson 12B, dealing with the site plan for this project D0614. So on this drawing, this is the property lines that we drew previously in lesson 12A, and I've modified it for our backup lesson. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right-click and snap to these property lines and select them, and I'm going to use the Save As command to actually save these property lines as a separate drawing. And the reason that I want to do that is that I'm going to be importing actually a digital map drawing, which is a JPEG file, and Dcad allows the importation of drawings and photos and various JPEG and bitmap drawings, but it tends to slow the program down substantially in dealing with all of that. So it's going to be a lot quicker if I just save it as a separate drawing, and that way I won't be clogging up our primary T1 drawing with photos and other imported drawings and stuff. So I've selected and highlighted these property lines. So now I'm going to go up to File and to Save As, and I'm in the correct folder D0614, and I'm going to click between at the end of the file name before the extension, right before the period, and hit the space bar, and I'm going to call it Site 1. And I want to make sure that I click Save Selection Only, because I just want to save those property lines as a separate drawing. So I click that, it's checked it, and I'm going to save. So now I can go ahead and just hit the save, because I'm still in my primary D0614T1 drawing. So I'm just going to save that. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to open D0614T1 Site 1, and I'm just going to double click it, and it opens it up, and there we have it right there. Now I'm going to hit L for layers, and in layer, I think I'll use layer 14 for my image import. I made that the current active layer, and I'm going to title it. I usually like my layer names in all caps, just easier for me to see. I'm going to call it Image Import. And just click somewhere, so you can see that that particular layer 14 is now titled Image Import, and so I can click OK. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import an image into this drawing that I'm going to use to reference various things in the site plan. So since layer 14, my image import layer is my current layer, I'm ready to import my drawing. I'm going to go over here to File and go down to Image, and it expands to Load Image File. And I previously copied a file from the city that kind of shows it's like a site plan or topographic file that the city provides, and shows buildings and topography in sort of a map form. So I'm opening that, went to Project D0614. I'm going to Site Plan, and here's a city topo map, and I'm going to just double click on that and bring it in and just put a single point, and then hit my scroll button to initiate it. So you can see this right here. Here's the residence. This is the lot right here, and it's way small. It's way smaller than our actual lot size that we created back in lesson 12A. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this image and I'm going to manipulate it a little bit and enlarge it so that it actually fits our actual property line. So in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the image just by clicking on the edge of it, or just clicking on the image itself, and you can see that it has points set up on it. It has the four corners and then one intermediate in the middle point in each direction. So now I'm going to set selection handles, and so I'm going over here to set selection handles and click on that, and I want one handle at the upper left corner of the image, right there on the corner, and just left click, and I want the other one on the upper right Actually, I think I'll put it on the lower right corner so I can get everything oriented correctly. So now I have my two handles. Now I'm going to hit Control R to regenerate the drawing so I can actually see my actual property lines, and I'm going to hit M for move. Now, notice up here it says use original scale, and that's checked by default usually. I'm going to uncheck that because I don't want to maintain the same scale, same size. I want to expand it out to fit the actual property lines. So now I'm going to right-click at this upper left corner, and then you can see how that JPEG drawing is expanding. And now I'm going to go down here to the lower right corner and right-click. And look at that. It's really pretty close. So there's a slight variation in the city map, and you'll find that those are sometimes not entirely accurate, but it'll give us a pretty good idea of where things are located on the lot, and we can see the residence right here. Now, I had previously drawn the actual residence in a separate drawing, just kind of expedite things. So I'm going to import that residence drawing. It's just basically the outline of the actual house. So I'm going to go over here to open and go down there. Here's Res FP for floor plan only. I'm going to just double click that to open it, and here's that residence. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to and I know the residence needs to be rotated at least 90 degrees, so I'm going to select it. I'm going to hit R for rotate and enter 90 and just rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to hit Control C, and that copies it to the clipboard, and then I can go ahead and close this drawing. Now I don't care about saving the changes. So now I can hit Control V, which is basically to paste, and you can see that the outline rectangle is pretty close to the house here, so I'm going to just click near here and go to layers to make sure that show all and unlock all layers, okay. And so you can see that the imported residence is highlighted, so I'm going to hit M for move and just align it with the actual map drawing from the city, and it'll get pretty close to where we're actually located. So I'm going to hit escape, and you can see the residence right now. This out here is a front porch, and when they do these types of topo map, they do them off aerial photos, so they're basically capturing the roof lines, and there are no walls under this porch, so it's not actually showing up on my floor plan. So now we have both the house and the property lines included in this drawing from the city that can help us lay things out. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually import the garage itself, the garage that we've drawn. And so I'm going up here to Windows, and I can see that drawing is no longer open. So I'm going to open D0614T1. And I think that the drawings that I want to use are the floor plan and the roof plan. A lot of times I'll show the roof plan on a site plan simply because it shows if there's any conflicts with nearby trees or other buildings or something if they're very close. So I'm going to go L for layers, and I want layer 1 to be my current active layer. I'm going to hide all, and then I'm going to scroll down to layer 30, which is our roof plan, and open that one also. And so here's our garage. You can see our garage doors is right now facing down on the screen. So I'm just going to select this and hit Control C, which copies it to the clipboard. Now I can go ahead and close this drawing, and I don't really care about saving the changes at this point. And I'm going to hit Control V to import it into this drawing. And there it is. Now, we do have an issue because I want the garage behind the house. And this is the garage door opening, and this is the driveway up here. So I need to rotate this garage 180 degrees. So I'm going to hit R for rotate, hit Tab, and then type in 180. And it just spins this thing around. And now I can move this garage however I want in relation to the house. And I know that there are issues like city setbacks, side yard setbacks and things, and rear yard setbacks to deal with. But this gives me a route into the garage from the driveway, and I'll be placing driveway in here, and it also gives me an opportunity for some backup room to head out into the street. So I'm going to hit escape, and you can see that our garage, and we can get real precise in how we relate it to the house and how we relate it to the property line. But this basically shows how to import our garage drawing into a basic site plan. Now we'll be going a lot further with the site plan, and we'll be bouncing back to our other initial T1 drawing. But it's most efficient to step out of that drawing and create another drawing like we've done here to deal with the site plan and the various things that we want to include in that drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and that concludes our Dcad lesson 12B for the site plan.